Hello, everybody, and welcome to my first ever Instagram live. This is the first time that I've ever done it, and I am so very excited to have a beautiful friend, a new friend of mine, join me on this Instagram live. A few weeks ago, I received a message in my Instagram inbox from a young lady who I'd never heard of before. And she wrote to me and said, I would love to sing a duet with you in these ISO collaboration styles. Would you be interested? And I thought, well, who are you? Yes, I would love to. I checked out her profile and I thought, oh my goodness, how did I not know about this beautiful young lady who lives in Cyprus and has a dual nationality? She's Greek and British. And well, I'd like to introduce her to you now. I'm going to invite her now to the chat. I've never done an Instagram live before, so please bear with me if I make mistakes. So I'm going to see if I can invite her now. I think I have to search. Sorry for this, guys. I cannot find her. Aliki, if you're there, can you please send me a request to join this Instagram live? But I'm so excited to, introduce this wonderful soprano who is Aliki, and she's coming online now, and I'm so excited. This is the first time we've ever met. We've never met before. It's kind of like a blind date, but not. I'm trying to get her to join. Oh my goodness, it's not happening. There she is. Hello. I've been trying to get you online and I have no idea what I'm doing.
I was like, I hope I can help. I'm like pressing these buttons and sending hearts to you. Hopefully you will see me.
Hello. It is so nice to meet you. We've
so
never met.
No, well, it's such an honor. Honestly, I can't believe that I am talking to you even. I want to say this to everybody that's watching. It has been such an honor. When I sent you a message, I'm thinking, no, she's probably too busy. No way. I have been watching you throughout your career and I have admired and loved your angelic voice so much. So when I sent a message out to you and you said yes, I was like over the moon happy.
Oh, that's so
and
sweet.
I instantly felt so connected to you through our messages only. No speaking, just the messages.
It's unbelievable how Instagram and social media has connected us in this world, and especially in this time now where we've all sort of been isolated, we've all been sitting at home, and I've met so many wonderful people, but yourself, Aliki, like we've done something so special. We collaborated on an ISO collaboration video of
Yes.
Say Goodbye, and it was very amazing to do this with you because I sang my part and I sent it to you and then you sang your part and I'd never seen it until the day we posted it, but
Yes.
you feel the emotion there, you feel the energy, and it was a real emotional roller coaster for me to watch that video because I thought, oh my goodness, it's like we've been doing this together for years.
I felt exactly the same. And the exact emotion. Never have sung with you ever. We've never spoken or anything, but I just felt that it was just, we were, you were speaking with Carmen about all the emotion whilst you're singing, and I just felt exactly the same way, that the emotion was the same.
Yes, and I mean, that's what we do, isn't it? When we're singing, we sing with our emotion. Well, I'd love to ask you a few questions, Aliki, because you're joining us here. You're from Cyprus. That's where you're living at the moment. But take us back a little bit. Take us back on your journey. Just a quick nutshell, like we don't want to go on for hours, and this isn't a documentary, but I would love to hear your journey about how you started singing and how you got that passion and spark for music, because as singers we all find our little passion and we hold on to it, we hold on to our dream, and I'd love to hear about yours.
Well, I am half English, half Greek. My mum is English, although my grandparents live in France now, so we're kind of here, there, and everywhere. My father is Greek from the Greek islands. I did grow up in Cyprus, but then I moved on for years. I lived in New York and in England. And music was, I think, I'd say since I was 3 years old, it was like I kind of felt destined that this was the only thing I had to do. I am from a musical family. My dad, I mean, he plays the accordion, he plays the piano, the guitar. We all sing. My brother sings. So I was kind of, I guess, inclined into all that musical path. And like you, when I read about I had many different influences. It wasn't just classical music. I mean, Greek music is very distinct, I'd say. So I've had a lot of the Greek folk music also growing up. So different kind of genres that led me to the path that I have taken today, really.
I love that so much. And the fact that you're a classical crossover singer, just like I am, I think it's all of those different styles of music throughout our childhood that really helped to form that base, I believe, because otherwise we wouldn't have known about all of those different styles of music. It's really beautiful. I'd love to give the audience a little taste of something that you've sung. I hope you can all hear this in the background. I love this song.
This is from my album, right? Is it the album? But yes, well, it was my first album, my debut album, called Reflections, which I guess it was a choice of songs that I felt close to at that point in my life. I was not a mummy yet, and that is important to say, because I don't know if you have changed, but I feel that my musical journey, my voice, my presence, let's say, as an artist on stage and elsewhere, I've totally changed after being a mummy. I'd say for the better, more emotional than ever, really.
Oh, totally, totally. I cry just watching ads on TV.
Same.
I've never been that person. I don't know if this is the same for you, but I used to be sort of that person that was just not emotional at all. Like I never felt it, never understood why people were always going on about, oh, my daughter said this, isn't it the best? And I'd be like, eh. And now, you know, like I'm that mom that goes to everyone like, oh my gosh, Sasha did this. And then they're like, I don't care. And I'm like, I know how you feel. Because I was like,
oh, Sasha just said hello. Or, you know, oh, she said, I love you, mommy, or something. Yeah. I know. Same it's here. Amazing.
So let's go back again. So you, have you studied classical voice?
I did.
And where did you study?
I started here in Cyprus when I was like 13 or 14, I guess. And then when I was 18, I went to Sheffield. I studied classical voice there. I came back to Cyprus after that for about a year. And then I'm like, nope, I'm not done. I need to travel. And I flew to New York.
Wow.
Which was, I think, honestly shocking for my mum and dad. I mean, I literally just saved money and bought my ticket.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to go there. And my husband and I had been together since we were 19, so quite a few years. Right. So we bought the tickets together and we were off, just with our suitcases, not really known where we're going to stay, just with that dream that New York I guess we all have in our heads this, that New York is the dream.
Right.
You know?
In Australia for opera singers, our dream is Europe.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
you're from
think,
Europe, so I was always wondering, where do Europeans dream to go?
well,
Because they've got it all there at their feet.
I think New York is, it's not just, you know, the song says, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. It's not about making it per se, I guess, in the industry, if you're going to be in Hollywood or if you're going to be in, it's about if you are able to live and survive in New York and actually embrace everything that it has to give you. It's a lesson of life by itself.
Wonderful.
So if you can live there and, you know, make it, being able to live there, it's a wonderful experience, and it gives you, there's so many things that you can get from there.
Is your husband musical too?
Yes. He is, he's a composer. He actually studied at Mannes School of Music in New York. I think I'd say he was a late bloomer. When we met, he started composing a lot, and then he was accepted in one of the great universities in New York. He doesn't do anything with music now. So, but it's nice to have him to talk to and get his advice on things. And he's my most difficult critique, I'd say.
I think that's what husbands do.
How about yours?
My husband is the same. He's definitely the one that sort of stands there, and I can just look at him and I know I shouldn't be singing this song. It's not good.
Yes,
for me.
yes, same. I'm like, oh.
But my husband, we met on tour with Andre Rieu. We actually yes. So we actually met on tour, and we just became really good friends. And it wasn't until many years later that we decided, hey, you know what? We're such good friends. We know so much about each other. Let's date. And we did. And so it was really, really nice to have somebody that is not actually involved in music. He's in events and he does all the behind the scenes stuff, but he's not actually the person that's on stage with me, which I think drives me nuts.
Yeah, I think that's the best, actually.
Yeah.
Because he does understand the industry.
Yeah, they understand the industry, but they don't necessarily have to be on stage.
Yes.
Yeah, they can be
behind it.
So you went to New York. Now tell us, what year was that when you sort of decided to make your next move and move on to your next location, which you moved back to Britain? Is that correct?
Yes. What year was that? I'm not very good at that. I'm lost with years. I think it was 2011 or 2012.
Right. Yes, and then the big year happened for you, which was 2013. And so many people around the world know you from the amazing show Britain's Got Talent, where you sang such an incredible audition. And I watched your audition. I loved it. It was very emotional, but even more emotional to hear your mum speak about you and about your journey with focal encephalitis, which I myself had never heard of before. And what you are doing with bringing awareness for that is incredible. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, of course. Focal encephalitis, because the word encephalos in Greek means brain. So it's a Greek word, encephalitis. And it does affect people differently. It's like it's an inflammation of the brain. And the thing is that it's very hard to detect what the other person has. That's why not a lot of people really know about it, and that's I've become an ambassador now for the Encephalitis Society, and it's really important because, you know, at first people might think that it's a mental problem, that you are going crazy or not remembering things or becoming delusional about that. happened to me. It happened to one of our other ambassadors in this way. But thankfully, we've both fully recovered. But it was a journey, but I feel that it's made me who I am, really.
Absolutely. And I
And
think
I
the awareness,
believe that every situation that comes to us, I mean, even now with COVID-19, I feel that, yes, at first it's a shock for everybody. You're like, okay, how do I deal with this? What do I, you know, even when I had encephalitis, or there's a lot of people in the world that are suffering. But once you, I guess it's like trying to see that what can I get better out of this situation? What will I learn from this? Because I always think there's a lesson in the end, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I've always been a believer in fate and that everything happens for a reason. I actually just saw someone comment, everything happens for a reason. And it's true. I mean, I think in my life myself, looking at my path, it's also been the same. You know, everything has happened for a reason. And it is really amazing to look back on your life and on a career and see that actually happening to you. So, for example, when you entered Britain's Got Talent, which gave you the basic worldwide exposure, basically that's what happened. Tell us a little bit more about that and how you felt being launched actually onto a world stage.
Britain's Got Talent is a platform, I would say it that way. It's, I don't know how to say this. It's not what it appears to be, because once it's a game, and once it's finished, and you're alone. And it's, the fact is, what do you do with the platform that it's given you? Am I making sense?
It makes sense.
It was an opportunity to get people to know who I am and what I do. So then everything else came along because of that, because people were, I guess, aware of who I am, where I was, and what I do. And then lots of different, I mean, I traveled to Canada and New York. I was invited to Australia once, but then something happened and I couldn't travel to come.
You'll just have to come another time, Aliki. I'm sure my Australian fans would love to meet you. Give us some hearts, Australian fans, if you want to see Aliki down under.
I would love to come. A dream come true. I would love to come to Australia once all this is over.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I want to come to Cyprus because it looks amazing.
Yes. And how strange. Is it winter for you now?
It is winter, but I'm in Brisbane in Australia. So our winter is not really what you'd consider winter. I'm not sure how it is in Cyprus, but here probably today it was about 24 degrees during the day. It was freezing.
24 degrees is not freezing.
As I'm saying, it's not really winter. At night though, it can dip down, and we sometimes get a bit of frost out west towards the outback. But talking about traveling in different countries, I mean, we both love traveling, and I think we've both traveled around the world many times, especially when it comes to performing. And I'd love to know from you, what was or is one of your favorite places to actually stand on stage and perform in the world?
Oh, my favorite place. That, I think, is a very difficult question. Which is my
something that stood out to you, something that was a little bit different?
Well, last year was quite an experience to go there. We went to Istanbul in Turkey last summer, which I had gone with the tenor Mario Frangulli. I was invited to go on tour with him over there, and the people, we were in this massive ancient theatre which would fit, well, in that place it was an ancient theatre, an amphitheatre, about 16 to 20,000 people. So it's just how warm and how welcome they made you feel.
Yes.
I think because also it was lately, I think I really remember that. And, you know, people like shouting out your name. It's
Yes.
just, it was so warm. It just made me go, I don't think I couldn't sing another song after that because I was in tears. It was so emotional.
Oh, it's so amazing. I love Istanbul. I've spent some time there myself and I really enjoyed the audiences, so I know what you mean. People are so warm and welcoming there. It was a really
Yeah.
incredible experience. Oh, that's so wonderful. Aliki, I am just amazed that we have connected in this way. And I'd love to know from you, where do you see your future plans after all of this COVID is gone? As performers, it's really hurt our industry, and a lot of us are suffering, especially those artists that work in musical theatre or in operas or in orchestras that don't have a full company set up, where they just aren't getting any support, government support. It's been a real issue for us, especially down here, down under, and we're trying to really raise awareness about that. As performers, we're the first to be asked to perform at a fundraiser for free, and we're the first to put up our hands to say, what can I do to help? But when it comes to things like this, we're often the ones that are kind of forgotten too. So I'd love to know, what are your plans after all of this? Have you got plans to tour? Are you planning a new album? What are some of the things you've got coming up?
Well, things, I think it was beginning of March, just before, or just like maybe a couple of weeks before this COVID-19 was announced everywhere in the world, and we were in lockdown for a very, very long time. Yes, plans for a new album are in the process, but they were kind of frozen for a little bit. My previous album was with Prague Philharmonic Orchestra in Prague, and I recorded it in Smeky Studios. And now there's a different route down to this one, which I'm hoping will catch up again maybe in September to see how things are going to go there. And yes, definitely a lot of touring is something that I hope will get back on track, and that we will be able to do very, very soon.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I can come to Australia also.
Yes, you have to come down under. Come and perform with us.
Yes, wonderful. But it's so true, Mirusia, that we are the first to say yes to to a charity to go and perform, and anyway, entertaining people. Let's put it that way.
Yes, I think because when we are entertaining, it comes from our heart. And so when our heart feels that is right, that's what we do. No questions asked, no money needed. We'll be there, to put our heart and soul into it.
If you're going to make somebody happy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Now, I think one of the things that I really want to talk about with you is the fact that we never met and we connected on social media. And I would love to talk about some of the things that we actually have in common, which is just absolutely crazy. And maybe we might learn something new about each other as well. So one of the things that we have in common, which is really funny, and a lot of people always question me about it, is the fact that we both perform using just our first name, just our name. You're Aliki and I'm Mirusia, and we don't have surnames because our surnames are so complicated and so difficult that if we add our surname onto our first name, it's just like people will go, I don't know what that is. They'll be like, they'll pick up our album and go like, I don't even know.
Have you ever tried to pronounce my last name, or do you even know my last name?
This is what I do, Aliki. Like, I look at your last name and I literally just go like,
So that's why.
Exactly. Have you tried to say mine? Have you tried to say my name?
I'm going to give it a go.
Okay.
Is it lowers?
Well, this is what most people say, but it's actually lowers. It's actually 3 syllables.
Lower.
But you wouldn't know that if you looked at it. So we leave it off and we just go by our first name, just like Adele or Madonna.
Yes, just like that.
So,
well, they are unique names. I don't know anybody else by your first name. Anybody. I've never heard that before. It's a beautiful name.
Okay, my next question for you is, because we both have a dual nationality, which we have in common. So you are Greek British and I am Dutch Australian. I'd love to know
you
how
actually
many.
speak Dutch, by the way.
Yes, I do. I speak Dutch. It was my first language.
Oh yes, right.
Yes, and then when I went to kindergarten, my parents freaked out because we lived in Australia, and they were thinking, how do we get to teach her English very quickly so she can actually converse with the other kids?
With songs.
Yes, through songs, through music, I learned how to speak English. But I would like to know, how many other languages do you speak, or how many languages do you actually speak fluently well? Not that it's like my German, I can get by, I can order food.
Yes,
I can kind of follow conversation, but like I don't claim to be that great at German, but I could probably, I make it a bit Dutch. But tell me about your languages.
Well, definitely Greek and English.
Yes.
I am very familiar. I can't say that I will. If I go and live in the country for a month, that's either France or Italy, then yes, I'd say I would be able to have a conversation. But because it's not a language, unfortunately, that I use to speak to every day. Yes, when I sing, we sing in French and in Italian, and it comes naturally, and I know what I'm singing about.
Yes.
But yes, so I can order food or ask for directions. But I'm a bit timid to actually say that I do speak the language. I need to live there for a bit and then I'll say yes.
That's it. I'll never forget. I was traveling and I went to France, and I was traveling through there for a little while, and we were completely lost, and we stopped and asked for directions, and we thought, oh, let's be smart and ask it in French because, we can. And so we stopped and we asked in French how to get to this place. I think we were going to the is it called the Mont Saint Michel?
Yeah.
Anyway, we stopped and we're like, blah blah blah, where is it? Because I can't even remember how to say it now. And they started to give us the directions back in French, but like really detailed. And it took them like 3 minutes just to describe it to us. And we were just sitting there going like, never asked this in French. This was the biggest mistake because we don't understand. And we were just like,
merci beaucoup, bye-bye.
Yeah, we were just like, oui, merci. We were like, get out the Google Maps. We've got no idea where we're going. It was pretty crazy.
Exactly like that. Exactly.
All right, so more things that we have in common is the fact that we are both moms. Can you tell us just a little snippet? We don't want to introduce our kids a bit like too much to social media, I think, in this day and age. But tell us a bit about your children and how old they are and how amazing they are. Let's be mums for a second.
Yes. Well, like you, before I had any children, it's not that I didn't want any. Yes, I did want children, but I wasn't ready. I was never ready. I said, no, a little bit more, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. My husband was like, please, it's time to have a family, la la. So then I just wasn't ready. I'm like, no, I'm too scared. It's going to change everything. And I'm not ready for that. I still want to be me. And then Christian came along. He was born on Christmas Day, actually.
Aww.
Which was a very, very, very magical moment because it was Christmas Eve when everything started happening. And he was born 1:00 on Christmas Day in the evening. So that was really special. And then now when Christian was 9 months old, I didn't know that then. I got pregnant with Sebastian.
Wow.
So their age difference is 16 months.
That's amazing.
Was difficult at the beginning, was difficult.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Christian was only 15, 16 months. So he's actually a little baby when the next one came along.
Two
but
under two.
I love it. And now Christian is 3.5, and Sebastian just turned 2. I wouldn't change it for the world. Literally, if I'm somewhere and I can go to I miss them all the time if I'm not with them. Only if I'm abroad and I know this is it. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So we spend lots of time together, which I'm very blessed, and I feel lucky that I can be a mummy at home, you know, to see them grow up.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? I think this time with COVID-19 as well, we've been forced basically to stay at home, and it's been a lovely time to be with our children. My daughter is 6 months older than your youngest. She's 2.5 soon.
Okay.
2.5 soon. And it's that age where they start to really talk and sing and do so. She actually talks to me now. She has
It's lovely. It's a good age, this one now.
Sometimes she comes up with things and I just say, oh, how did you even know how to say that?
Yeah.
It's quite incredible. All right.
And they get to teach you so many things. They do.
They do. Having a child. Oh gosh, it's so humbling.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Question. You're an 80s child. Like
yes.
me. We were born in the 80s.
So long ago now, doesn't it?
It does sound so long ago.
We are 80s children.
Okay, so I've just got a couple of childhood questions for you before we wrap up. Did you grow up with those troll dolls with the hair?
Yes, they were horrible, but I did.
My Little Pony?
Yes.
Polly Pocket?
Totally.
Totally Polly Pocket. And if you still have one, they're worth like a lot of money now on eBay.
Are they?
Yes, they are. So even though we grew up in completely different countries on the other side of the world from each other, I think it's so amazing, Aliki, that we are here together on Instagram having this chat, and we've connected after all of these years. We are 80s children after all. Yeah, and I just think it's really incredible. And I just really want to thank you so much for reaching out and sending me that first message to ask if I'd like to sing a duet with you. Thank you so much for that. And it really is a joy to know you. I can't wait to actually meet you in person. And when we do, we'll have to have a camera crew there or something, just so that we can show everybody watching how amazing that moment is as well. So thank you so very much for joining us all here today on my Instagram Live. Do you have any last things you would like to say?
I want to say that the power of music, I think, through this period of our lives has brought us so close together with different artists that we've never met before. And especially with you, and I'm not just saying this because we're live now, I was telling my husband, I said, I feel that I've known her forever and I've never spoken to her before. Well, so I felt exactly the same. And thank you for being a very rare person, because it's very rare to find somebody so truthful and adorable as you are, really. So thank you for saying yes, and I do hope we meet soon.
Thank you so much, Aliki. And it will happen. We have to make it happen. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please give Aliki all the hearts as a round of applause.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. This was lovely.
On Instagram, it's been amazing. Heart away, everybody. We want to see your hearts coming up. There they go. Oh my goodness, explosion.
And I can't wait to see you all very, very soon, hopefully.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Aliki, and we'll speak to you again another time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. I don't know how to say goodbye.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this amazing live with Aliki. It was the first time we'd ever met, so it was really exciting to share it with you. And I can't wait to do another Instagram live with you again. My next one is coming up very soon, and I'll be announcing it on Instagram in a couple of days' time. So stay tuned. Bye-bye.